Welcome back. This is part 2 of our 4-part workshop, Finding Your Way When You Don't Know What You're Doing. Part 2, we will be going over an important tool called mind mapping. Now, just to review, in our last video, we reviewed the equation for employment. Remember that these were the 3 things that we needed in order to land a job. We needed, number 1, a skill. Number 2, we needed someone to recognize that we have that skill. And 3, we needed a person willing to trade that skill for money. Now, in this video, we will be reviewing a tool that will help us identify useful skills, which is basically part 1 in our equation for employment. And that tool is called mind mapping. Now, what is the goal of mind mapping? It is to generate a list of skills, talents, and interests. Now, how do we mind map? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take a piece of paper and we will write our name in the center. We are then going to write down any strengths, interests, or passions we have. And what's really important is that no idea is too crazy. We don't want to edit ourselves as we are creating our mind map. We just want to write. And for this exercise, we could take about 5 minutes. So let me go ahead and remove the slideshow and we'll take a look at our whiteboard here. All right, so you see I have my name in the center and I have my clock here at 5 minutes. And I'm just going to brainstorm some interests, curiosities, passions that I have, and we'll see what comes up. So we're going to go in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, well, let's see. I enjoy math. I am a math tutor after all. I'm really good with numbers. Loved numbers since I was a little kid. I like the logic involved with mathematics. And there's something about reliable rules. Again, these are reliable. One thing I don't like, by the way, I don't like politics. Like, I like talking about politics, but I don't like participating in politics because the rules in politics just feel like they're just changing. It feels so weird. But math rules are reliable. I like reliability. Which reminds me that I enjoy games too. I love video games. Mostly like a Nintendo kind of guy. Nintendo typically has games that are like easily accessible. I'm definitely much more of a console gamer, not so much a PC gamer, though PC games are awesome. I tend to like social games. Social games that are, like, again, easy to pick up. But I also like board games. Again, I think I like the in-person aspect, I think is really cool about them. In particular, I also like seeing how people behave. How people behave. Go ahead and keep that up. I think I also like the experiences. Different experiences that board games can provide. I think that's really cool. I also think that board games also give you different goals, right? Like goals. Okay, what else? For a while, I liked acting for a while too. I pursued acting for about 20 years. I was into both plays and musicals. For musicals, I sang as a tenor, so I liked singing. I really enjoyed getting into character. There was also, I think, a stage rush. There's just something very, very special about being in front of a live audience. That reminds me also too, with acting, I also did a little bit of improv, and that is a different kind of rush because you're just sort of making things up on the fly. And there was a really important concept called yes-anding that I think was really profound for me, again, because I was a perfectionist. So the idea that you could just accept any idea and run with it and make it entertaining was really cool. Yeah, I mean, I loved entertaining. In particular, like, being funny was really important to me. I think as a teenager, I was serious, or I learned to be serious, and so I think being funny, I thought was a really like special skill. Let's see, I was also a collector, kind of like baseball cards. Which reminds me that I'm also into investing. I think there was this idea of like making money grow. I thought was really cool. I'm also a fan of pro wrestling. I like the energy of pro wrestling. There's kind of a simple drama to it, but there's also like a physicality that I thought was really, really cool. Shoot, 19 seconds. Like YouTube, hurry. I think the content is engaging. And I like education. Hurry. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. So here's my mind map. Okay. I clearly could have gone longer than 5 minutes if I want to, but I think this is a good start. So once we finished with our mind map, we want to identify connections to these words, and possibly through these connections, we could come up with some ideas of things that might interest us or jobs that might interest us. So for example, I noticed that there like numbers in games tend to sort of tie in together. The in-person part seems to be tied in with like improv and the plays and musicals. Like all of these have to do with in-person. There's an education part. And so, I mean, clearly that these things are tied together, which is why I think I end up being a tutor, because these sort of tie in together. There's some interesting aspects though with this pro wrestling part. I should add here that the physicality, the exercise that I'm into is I'm actually into gym climbing. And I think there's an intellectual aspect to it. I'm a very intellectual guy. So, you know, so there's the performance aspect of YouTube that's tied in with my acting as well. So it's given me some ideas as to some possible paths for me. Right? And so this is the idea of mind mapping. We want to try to pull together all our different sorts of interests and curiosities, things that we are likely to either be good at or things that we would be willing to work on when things get hard. Okay? Now, we do have a tool later on, which we'll talk into our next video, about what we do with these skills and how we test out certain jobs. But let's go ahead and wrap up this section first. In conclusion, we've learned that mind mapping is a tool for identifying skills and interests that might be valuable. Now, in our next video, we will learn a tool that will help us build these skills and test drive certain jobs that we think might fit these skills. And that tool is called prototyping. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you liked what you saw, please click the thumbs up button below. Also, if you want to watch more of my videos, or you want to catch me on an office hours live stream, please click subscribe to Sophos Tutor.